Hello there. Welcome to another episode of business coaching and consulting at its best and awesome. Anyway, just I thought it might be a bit too long before the last video, so I've decided to do another video, part two of job hunting. Now, I will be doing other videos as well. There'll be videos on how to prepare for interviews, and also on how you can use networking to get your next job or career. But I just wanted to talk to you about people who are just starting on their careers, or who have got no previous work experience. Now, if you're left school and you've decided not to go to further higher education for some reason, you want to go into the world of work, the best way is to apply for an apprenticeship. If you apply for an apprenticeship, depending on what industry you want to go into, they will take you on, train you, and pay you a weekly wage. Obviously, it won't be uh, uh, great to begin with, but if you decide to stay in that industry, you can build a career. You've got a foundation, a building block to then, if you decide that you want to, so say you want to be a plumber, for instance, um, if you can, if you decide to do a course on plumbing, that's great. If you've not done plumbing before, but if you haven't got experience of plumbing, you could go for an apprenticeship or ask your local companies if they're looking for someone as a plumber. The other thing that I would suggest is if you are leaving school and you decide not to go to college, do any higher education or further education or higher education, is what you could do is you could target your local companies if you want to work locally, and do what's called a speculative application. You could say to them, look, I would like to come and work for your company, learn. If you can pay for my traveling and my lunch, I'd like to learn. As I gain experience, while you're doing that, they may take you on full time. If they don't, you still got something. And then you've got your work experience. And once you've got that work experience, you can then, after a couple of months, say 3 or 4 months, apply for other companies, because what's happening is that you're gaining experience. Now, if they really like you and you're quite happy there, you can then turn around to them and say, look, I'm very happy here. I want a career here. I want to learn the business, whatever the business is. Remember, any company you join is a business, right? And all a business is something. It's like a connector to customers that sells goods and services. I'll go into how to start a business on entrepreneurship at another one, because that's a separate thing. But what I want to talk to you about is, like I said, if you've got no experience, right, there's ways in. Don't despair. The other thing you could do is voluntary work. Now, I know it's unpaid, and but with that, with voluntary experience, they could, you could get, say you wanted to work in an office, you want to become an office manager or an administrator or secretary. You could contact charities or local voluntary organizations and say, look, I'd like to work 2 or 3 days a week. Because what that does is, when you're going in there and you're working on that, and while you're doing that, you can look for a job. It will keep you busy. And once it keeps you busy, it will also look good in your CV, because what companies want are people with initiative. If you take initiative and if you're enthusiastic, you will get the job you want, or ideally the career you want. Now, if you decide to go to college and do other qualification, that's great, because it puts you up a little bit up the further on the playing field. But same thing again, you need to build some work experience. You need to have something on your CV that allows them to say that, yeah, this person is, because some companies, they want you to hit the ground running. They basically want someone that can hit the ground running and then grow with a company. Other companies will give you training. Now, if you get training at a company, that's brilliant, because you can go in there and say, look, although I haven't got any previous work experience, I do have certain skill sets. So say if at college you played sports, or if you were captain of the football team, you can bring that in because what they're looking is for future leaders. And if you want to be a leader, sometimes it's good to, if you can't find it in your background work experience, you can find it in interest. Now, that's okay, but that doesn't add value to an organization. What they want you to do is add value to them. They've got a position because they've got a problem to solve. If you can match your skills and attitude to their criteria, you've got more of a chance. I'll give you an example. Say, say I'm a director, MD of a company. I've started a small business. I'm looking to recruit my first 2 employees, right? I need someone as an admin person and to deal with the accounts, and I need someone to help me with the sales and marketing. Now, I'd be doing the interviewing because I don't have an HR person. But what I would have is a position. Now, I'll put the say I advertise on the on the job portals. And there's loads of job portals, but I decided I'd advertise on job portals, and I'm not going to go for a recruitment agency. So they're going to be working with me directly. So I need to know that I'm taking on the right staff. Now, I put the position on. There's a deadline, and I say by this time I will be then shortlisting applicants for interview. I managed to whittle down how many CVs come to me to maybe say a handful of candidates or 10 candidates that I may decide to interview. Okay, so let's just go for 10 because it's a round number. Now, of those candidates, they all come to the first interview. I may decide to do a second interview, but in this case, just to keep it simple, I'm going to offer a position after the first interview. So I have 2 people that come in. I've looked at the CVs and I said, look, congratulations, you've come to, thank you for applying. I'd like to invite you for an interview. Please, these are the dates that I can do the interview. Are you able to attend them? They say yes. They then come to the interview. I have one person that comes to me, has maybe 5 years experience, right? But maybe this position, because it's going to be working for a startup business, may not be the right position for him. I don't know, or him or her, because they're used to working for top companies. So I ask questions, find out what the person's looking for. And then the following day, or the following afternoon, because I'm booked up with interviews, I have a young person come over and says, look, I don't have any previous experience, but I'm willing to learn, right? Now, I then decide, okay, I've got this one guy with 5 years experience, or one person, this guy or girl with 5 years experience. Yes, they've worked with big companies. That's what I'm looking for. And then I've got this other person. It could be a young guy or a girl. They're eager to join the workforce, and they haven't got any previous experience. Now, if I bring them both together and say, I've got one person like this and one person like that, who do you think I'm more likely to take on? Do you think I'm more likely to take on the apprentice or more the person that's experienced? Now, the person who's would be the new starter or apprentice may have qualifications. They may even be a graduate. But the other person, depending on my needs for the business, if I'm looking for someone to hit the ground running, I will take the person who's experienced. Now, I know that's not what you want to hear. And me personally, I would take the person that's best presented themselves to me at the interview. So what you want to do is, if you've got no previous work experience, is go through what you're good at. Because you never know, if you bring that in the conversation in an interview, that may give you the edge. Like I said, there's various options. You could do voluntary work, you know. You'd have to put your ego and your pride aside, but I know quite a lot of people who did voluntary work because they couldn't find work. And because of that, when they started applying to companies, they got work. And these were people with no experience. You could apply for an apprenticeship. You could also apply to new companies and do an internship. Or the other thing is, you could basically do a speculative application. Now, there's no guarantees on any of these, but this gives you an edge over the competition, right? Because how do you know that the other person isn't doing that? You need to find out, with the resources that you have, the best way to get that interview, and with that interview, to secure that position. So, like I said, there are various ways to do this. Now, the other thing you could do is go back to college, or even university if you decide. If you are a college leaver, you decide, and do a vocational course. A vocational course is something that's related to the world of work. I'm not saying don't do academic courses, because the skills that you learn, um, you know, taking exams, turning up to lectures, you know, reading, writing, all the stuff that, or even doing projects, is bringing me back to my uni days. Those are skills that are helpful. But the thing is, if an employer has got two people to decide to, and even if that one person's got 6 months experience and not as many qualifications, it is a bit of a tough decision for them. They may go against them and say, look, they may even offer them both the positions. But why take that chance? You have got to look yourself as a product, and your CV or application form or covering letter is the document that you need to sell to your employer. Once you've done that, you can go to the next stage, which is the interview stage. And I'll talk about interviews in the next YouTube video that I'll be doing. This might become a series of videos if it gets popularity. Obviously, the more views I get, the more I'll have the reason to believe that people are watching the videos. The other thing you need to do is don't give up. Don't give up. And ask friends and family. You know, who knows? You know, you may just put the word out that you're looking for something. You're looking for, even if you get part-time to begin with, that would be good. You know, because if you get part-time work, you've got something to build on. You know, this is why I say, look at the resources that you've got. Look at the skills that you've got. Yeah. If you've done something at college or uni that makes you stand out, put that across. You know, because it will make you stand out. Because you don't know how qualified or how much experience the other person's got. All you can control is what you send out and the interview. You do have control of the interview, despite the employer makes the choice of whether you get the job or not. You do have control. Trust me on this. Anyway, I'm going to leave it for now because obviously I did a previous video. I might decide to do another video in the next couple of days, or I may decide, obviously it depends on the time element that I have. Like I said, if anyone's interested in getting some advice on careers, because I've had quite a few of them over my vast, say, 25 years, show my age, probably longer than that actually, or they just want advice on CVs and how to prepare for interviews, I will give a free 45-minute to an hour Skype call if you are interested. If you do, then by all means email me at my email address is raj024 Malhotra, which is Malhotra @gmail.com. In the meantime, just want to wish you all good luck in your job hunting. I would also look at other YouTube videos that give advice on there. The ones that I found the most helpful was by my mentor, previous coach and mentor, who actually helped me change careers. Graham Martin, the recruitment guy. I would follow his videos. Another person, if you are into sales, is Gavin Ingham. He's got a lot of videos on YouTube. Very successful guy. His workshops are always sold out. Also, another one that I've had the pleasure of meeting is Tony Morris, the Sales Doctors. I've also spoken to Bruce King. So these are people you can find on YouTube. You can contact them on their websites. If you can just talk to them, they will give you. If you know someone who's successful, pick their brains, find out what makes them tick, because they will happily give you that advice. That will help you, especially if you're starting in your career, or even if you're looking to start your own business. I will be doing a separate segment on starting your own business, because there is a lot involved in that as well. But so I might be doing a range of videos on each aspect, but depending on if people are viewing them and sharing them. But I would just want to, like I said, just I do sometimes go over my allotted time limit. I just want to say good luck. Happy job hunting. Keep positive. Keep focused. I know it's frustrating, and I know some days you are going to have down days. You are going to get rejected. What you need to do is not take the rejection personally, yeah, or react to it and say, why didn't they take me in this? Because it will just drive you crazy. Trust me, I've done this in the past. It does not work. Your best thing is to say, get feedback, and then when you go for the next interview, you'll be sharper. You'll find out how you can add value to them. Everything's about adding value, whether you're in business, whether you're in sales, whether you're employed. It's all about adding value. If you add more value than you get in return, you will be successful. Because success leaves clues. And on that note, I'll leave you to it. And like I said, please view this message if you can. I mean, I will carry on doing the videos because I like sharing my message out there. And I think it's my right to do that, because if someone shared a message with me, then I think I should do that the same. But like I said, if you are interested in career coaching, consulting, or if you're a new business and you want some help with sales marketing or even finances, then by all means, give me a call. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.